What's up, fam? Welcome back to another episode of EXTOL WE episode. I think we're up to 4. Oh my word. God is starting to do the mighty works amongst us, not just me, but EXTOL WE. The video that I posted on Sunday, September 3rd, 2023, God did so much stuff through. It's absolutely incredible. The two videos, you can go back and watch it, are Seeds of Glory, and that's coupled in into Extraordinary Life graphic. And the beautiful thing that I'm beginning to discover is seeing how the prophetic declarations that I established 3.5 years ago are then colliding with, joining and running in parallel with, speaking into the community that I am now a part of here in 2023. Back in 2020, in March of 2020, I was in a period of time where I had stepped away intentionally from congregational contexts in order to allow God to heal my heart. I had been a part of a church movement for 5.5 years. I stepped out of a position in full-time ministry in that body of people on Sunday, December 29th, 2019. My wife, Charlotte, and I then decided to just remain at home, seek the Lord, and to fast and pray for a time in order to allow areas of confusion, hurt, and wounding to heal, and then to also allow God to then speak into our lives with vision and clarity moving forward in our involvement in body life together. And it was very intentional. My friend, I encourage you, if you've experienced hurts within community life in Christ, I would intentionally say, don't take the testimony of my life and use it as an excuse to say, hey, he stayed away from church for 1 whole year, and so therefore I'm just going to stay away from church because I was wounded. I don't want to leave any place in your life for darkness to lead you into that kind of deception. I intentionally, with my wife, said we are going to fast for 1 whole year to allow God to speak into our lives. As Paul admonishes, says, husbands and wives, do not deprive one another of intimacy except for a mutual agreement for a time to devote yourself to prayer, but come back together lest you provide a foothold for Satan to attack you. So it was an intentional time period where me and my wife pulled back in order to devote ourselves to prayer, seeking God intentionally to have him speak into our lives with an intentional plan of merging back into community and covenant intimacy with the body. We had all kinds of accountability in place and so on. During that time period, in March of 2020, we had just jumped into a 3-month period of fasting from a congregational context. As I recorded my video then on Saturday, March 7th, 2020, I began to declare about the seeds of glory, that I made a declaration and said that post video of playing my video on Thursday, August 17th, 2023, that everything that God would do in the next 3.5 years of our process together would so far supersede the glory of the things that God had done in the first 3.5 years that we would have to wonder whether or not God did anything at all. I remember in that moment, as I declared that, it was by faith that God was doing so many things that were so mind-blowing to me at that point in my life that I had a hard time imagining by faith that anything could be greater than what God was doing at that point. However, sitting here now in 2023 and having experienced all the things that God did back in the last 3.5 years, the ones that I posted and that you all got to see in the process of Extraordinary Life with Elijah, but then all of the other things that happened behind the scenes that are forthcoming that you did not see, but I definitely did experience. And the hardest part was sitting on all of those things, continuing to sit on all of those things until they post and not telling you about them until it's time for them to be revealed. absolutely mind-blowing. So here on Tuesday, September 12th, 2023, I can affirm by massive testimony. Yes, that declaration was true. God absolutely superseded everything of greatness up to this point, and he will do greater works still. Now, that video I recorded on Saturday, March 7th, 2020, and it was to be posted on Sunday, September 3rd, 2023. Charlotte and I traveled out to Redding, California to visit Bethel Church and had some things that God had called us to do while we were there. And as part of that, I posted then the first video of the next 3.5-year season on Sunday, August 20th, 2023. Now, on the Sunday when I posted my video from Redding, California, called The Power of Love, on Sunday, August 20th, 2023, our senior leader of My Faith Family in Bozeman, Montana, started a 2-part series called Room for More. In that sermon series, he is such an impassioned man, but that he declared that God was calling us to more, that how we, out of seeing all that God has done, all of the things that Jesus has done to serve our heart and let us taste of his goodness, is so incredibly great that we can't hold back. We can't shrink back and do less, that we have to push forward in the testimony of what God has done and pursue more in God, to do more of the works that God has for us to do, to reach out to more people, to see more people saved, to grow our space, to expand our tent pegs, to gather in more people into our house for the glory of our Father's name. And the beautiful thing about his sermon, though, was that I didn't get to see his sermons until I came back and I was sick. I couldn't go to be with My Faith Family in Bozeman. And so I got caught up on my sermons on Sunday, September 3rd, 2023, when I went live with Seeds of Glory. In my video of Seeds of Glory that I recorded on Saturday, March 7th, 2020, I declare over and over, it's more. Plant the seed, that unless a seed falls to the ground and dies, it cannot bear much fruit. But if it dies, it will spring up to bear 30, 60, 100-fold. That was my declaration, but as Michael preached his sermon, he declared more. He also said that his very first vision sermon that he ever preached at C3 as the senior leader was on Sunday, March 8th, 2020, which just so happens to be, I don't know, International Women's Day. Could be slightly prophetic. I don't know. Could be. Family, it's so incredible to see that in a time and an era when I was not connected with C3 at all. I didn't know who Michael, David, Jeff, Ted, any of the people at C3 that I'm in community with, I did not know them at all. But that one day previous to Michael's very first vision sermon, I set a prophetic declaration in place that was to be played on September 3rd, 2023, at the time when I would listen to Michael's sermon calling for more in our community, for Christ, for his glory, for his namesake, for the salvation of all mankind, and that he would then say in that sermon that his very first vision sermon was on March 8th, 2020. Family, the mind-blowing precision of our Father to build up his church and to establish his realities prophetically absolutely boggles my mind. That a prophetic word that I had planted in the ground through the maximum effort of the faith that God had given me to declare 3.5 years previous would be played concurrently with a sermon of a man who now I am in fellowship with, that I was not in fellowship with before, and that I declared it a day before he preached his first vision sermon. I get so stuck in the details, my friends. I realize I'm talking in a circle, but the works of my Father are absolutely mind-blowing. Now, take that experience and merge that then with the video that was right on the heels of Seeds of Glory in Extraordinary Life graphic. In my video, Seeds of Glory, I celebrated my friend Tori and her capacity to wholeheartedly and innocently, vulnerably, to press into my leadership as her youth pastor with such abandon and with such innocence and sincerity of heart. And that as a result of her pursuing my heart in Extraordinary Life with Elijah, saying, I see what you did there. You hid Extraordinary Life with Elijah in your graphic. I see what you did there. That, family, that it was so incredibly mind-blowing to see how, as I chose to follow what God was telling me to do, to not reveal the deep dive of the graphic and all of the meaning that I had seen with the Lord and had injected into the graphic, and that we'd prayed over and we'd talked over and that we had celebrated and co-created together, that as I set all of that aside by His moving, He said, do not post that it left room for God to speak into Tori's heart and to reveal to her a deeper truth that He had embedded within the seed of His glory that He had given me. As I allowed the seed of my graphic to be set aside and to die, God birthed something that was 100-fold better than what I had created. Family, the lessons that I extract, the prophetic connection of what God did in the video that we posted in the past, through the Extraordinary Life graphic video, to the video then that I posted live here that I recorded then, but then it's awaited Seeds of Glory. What I can see of God pushing those two things together, and now for this new season, that from a we disciple us context, as leadership takes vision that they have with God, that they've received this seed of vision that they have from Him, but that they take it and they inject it into the people that they are to equip, to empower, and to lead. And as they allow their hopes, their intentions, their desires, and everything that they've seen to die and to fall in the ground such that other people can speak into it in a we disciple us context, the result is multiplied 30, 60, 100-fold increase of more grace, more glory, more insight, more impartation of the Spirit that then can be stewarded towards community and the world for the honor, the glory of our Father, and the blessing of all mankind. Family, wherever you're at in your life here in 2023, whatever challenges you may be facing, whatever vision God has placed within you, whatever's growing on your insides, building so much pressure, and you just want to get it out, and you love it so much with God, and you just can't wait to spring it on the world. My encouragement out of the manifest testimony of God's faith and faithfulness in my life is that as you surrender yourself in humble connection with, in covenant community, in intimacy through the Spirit, unity by the Spirit, surrendering it to one another and honoring one another above ourselves, that as you take all of those things that are within you and you submit it to be stewarded with and by community on your behalf, the result will be multiplied glory that will so incredibly astound your mind that you will talk in circles for 16 minutes, 43 seconds, just trying to convey it to the people that you love. If you subscribe to what we are doing, then hit the button, hit it, and then get it. Hit the bell as well so you get notified with the new content. And if you love this video, didn't just like it, then hit the thumbs down button. I pray blessings on our lives together. I love you guys lots, and I will see you in the next video.